Yeah, that is second. And third would be um, do not self reject. So, like, this has been one of the thing which I see a lot of people do, which I also did for myself. And I would not have been in Microsoft had I not applied. So,
Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into another episode of D Industry. In this episode, we have a very special guest joining with us. Hi Vaibhav, welcome to D Industry.
hey, ITH, thanks for inviting me here. Happy to be talking to you.
Thank you so much, Vaibhav. So, if you could give a brief about yourself to our viewers out there.
Yep. So I'm a UX designer currently working at Microsoft. Um, I have been in this industry for 5 years now, and I took a career switch from architecture. So that is about me. And other than that, like I come from Rajasthan, and uh, um, I don't know. I like to read. If that's going to be a topic for today, but
Nice, nice. So, what was your journey into design? How did you start? Like, was your conversion from architecture to design background, and what were the major learnings that you took from your study at SPA and converted them into your practical lessons when you shifted your domain to product design?
so to be very honest, I never chose UX design as a career. Like it was never like I woke up someday and decided to do this thing. No. So what happened was like during my architecture, I was quite convinced that architecture is not for me, and I have my own reasons and everything. So I started like exploring other fields, like what actually ignites interest. So visual design was something, computational design, then physical product design. Those were the three things fields I was actually interested in. And once that happened, like when I was out of college, I knew that okay, I want to explore in this, but the direction was not pretty clear. Like, should I go for masters or should I do something? My thinking at that point was that if I go to masters, like right after 5 years of course, 2 years committing to something in for which I'm not really sure. Like I had not made up my mind. Okay, this is the field I wanted to get into. So this did not feel like a right step. And what I decided that I'll work in a startup, learn something. I'll try to get a startup which kind of gives me exposure to for off. And once I understand that, okay, what it takes to be a graphic designer or a product designer or a computational designer, then I can maybe pursue masters if needed. So that's how I started. When I joined my first company, my job title was visual designer. And I was kind of, they were a web platform which was building a community for designers at that point, mostly architects. And I was part of both content and platform team. But as work grew and they saw my inclination, and I realized that okay, I was a bit more interested in technical aspects of things. So that's how I transitioned into UX without like okay, there was no cut today that from tomorrow you are a UX designer. Like there was no such thing. I just started taking that work more, and that's how I realized about this field.
That's wonderful. Since your transition, and folks who are watching this video, Vaibhav is also a Figma wizard. So he makes a lot of tutorials and he conducts a lot of sessions on Figma. So Vaibhav wanted to understand for you, like when you shifted here, how did learning about the tool made it easy for your transition? And do you really think just learning about the tool will make you a UX designer?
Second question first, not at all. So tool is something which you need to do. Like it's like similar to what hammer is to a carpenter. If you do not know how to use a hammer, you cannot become a carpenter. But knowing how to use it does not make you one. So I think that goes same for design as well. The thing about design is like there are two aspects to it. Three aspects which I usually say that what does a designer do like anyway. One is that you understand, identify the problem or opportunity space, and then you try arriving at a solution which is an improvement from the existing or actually use something which takes into consideration human aspect, technical aspect, and business aspect, all of that. And then you convey that solution to something, someone, or a person or entity to take that forward, build it. In our case, developers. So if I have a great idea, but I'm not able to like bring it out or convey that, that's such a challenge. So Figma, I really like to think of Figma not as a design tool, but as a tool which where I document my conversations with my developers. So it's instead of writing it down on a paper or drawing on a napkin, I just use this tool to draw and in a language that they understand. So where that does not suffice, we write notes, all of that. So in that sense, like Figma is just a communication tool and it's a very small part of being a designer. So yeah, and when I started my journey, like I did not do any course on UX design, any boot camp, any college or something. So I picked up few things about the tool and what standards of industry and everything else online. And when I like conduct these sessions now, it's mostly on two reasons. One is like giving back to community. Like someone someday made a video, uploaded on YouTube, and because of which I could learn. So it's my way of giving back. And second is basically how do we look at design? Like the question you just asked, does tool make you a designer? So when I teach tool to someone, it's like I'm openly claiming that if tool is what makes you a designer, here I'm teaching you. You- like take that, and in few hours I will teach you everything I know about Figma. And if that's all you needed, like if that's what's a barrier to become a good designer, I'm democratizing it. Be my competition, take my job. So yeah, it's a statement like tool in itself is not enough.
That's wonderful. So I know you've been recently experimenting a lot with coding using AI. So wanted to understand, bro, like how did you started that journey, and what would your advice for designers to get started with code or tinker and make their own unique stuff?
So like when I said when I made a transition, I from architecture to UX design. In reality, like my dream was to become a software developer, like from school days, which is why I sat for IITs, went to Kota, uh, did all that. What typical Indian family does for uh, pick, taking a career in computer science, right? So I did all of that, and my thing was like I really wanted to try that out. I was very fascinated with this idea of technology that you can do practically anything with computers by writing few lines of code, and that machine will always obey you. Like it does not matter who you are, how old you are, with gender or anything. If you write something, machine will follow. So that was a superpower. So I tried to learn coding when I was in class six, but did not like succeed in much. We were taught HTML, basic HTML in school, and that was pretty much I knew. I tried learning a bit more than that, but the infra at that point did not support me. So that had to wait. And when I went to architecture, like that, it was completely different path altogether, where I really could not pursue that, like as in terms of my core requirements. So I tried like at least keeping myself updated with the technology and everything. So that has stayed with me. Like it's not that I saw this AI emerging and then I realized, okay, I can do that. And that's technology was has been a passion for me. Even my architecture dissertation was titled Artificial Intelligence in Architecture. How can we use that to improve design process? And it came, I wrote that a year before GPT was a thing. So it's not even like following the buzzwords or something. But yeah, when I look at what AI has enabled us to do, it you can learn a lot of things in the format you choose to. You can do a lot of things if you do not choose to learn. All of that is available super cheap to you, almost free, right? So it does not cost me anything. If today I want to make a plugin, let's say if there's a thing which I cannot do in Figma, I can go out, I can buy something. But before buying, if I just stop for a minute and go to ChatGPT, say that I need to do this in Figma, how do I do it? It will write me a script, it will write me a plugin code, and I just all I need to do is copy paste. So if so, my question is like, what are we actually optimizing for? So when if something costs you money, then you can say, okay, I cannot afford it, which is why I'm not experimenting. When something is too technical, then your inhibition is understandable. But for me, there's nothing like that. Like it will give you code, it will explain code line by line. And beautiful part is you need to read that explanation. You just need to copy paste, put that in the right folder. It will tell you where to put. And barely in few like if you're complete novice, I think in a day you can get some up running. So from that point of view, I see that as superpower. Like I do not know how to code, but I have my code published and running somewhere which other people are using. So in a way, I'm kind of living that dream, that childhood dream, without actually becoming developer one. So yeah, that has been for me, and I really want to actually understand from you, or like if we can somehow get to know from your audience that what is the thing which is kind of keeping holding them back? Like I will not use it because, or like I haven't used it till this point because. So I want to understand that.
Perfect. Please list down, if you're watching this video, in the comments, what is stopping you from coding. I'll we'll definitely check that out. But thanks for sharing that advice, Vaibhav. And second thing I wanted to understand is like somebody who is just getting into the field, considering how market situation is very tight and all. What do you think would be your top three advices for anybody who is planning to switch careers, like how you did, or also get into this field? What would be your three major advices from them?
I think okay. So three career advice. That's a good one. And this is something which I've actually thought about. Like I would not pretend that I know enough about the field. Like it's been 5 years, so uh, it's not like I have learned it all. But few advices that have helped me, which I can definitely share is first one is like be honest to yourself. And when I say be honest to yourself, I'll give you an example. Like as you know that I come from SPA Delhi, which is regarded as one of the best colleges for architecture in India. A lot of time when I would like talk to my college mates, batchmates, um, we always had this thing about uh, since you are in this prestigious college, you will become a good architect. And it goes like this can be extended to anyone. Since you are an IIT and you will earn this much, or you have to solve this problem, or this is what you're cut for, right? In doing so, like at times we start explaining ourselves, okay, I'll be a great architect because I'm from HPW. I'll be a great engineer because I'm from IIT Bombay or something. And things thing could be that you might be not. Like a deep inside, you might not even enjoy coding. You might not enjoy designing buildings, or you might realize that you're not good at that. But that external pressure is what we actually internalize, and then we tell ourselves, okay, no, we are great. We have to do good, great. There's no way around on everything. So in my journey, I did not choose architecture as a profession because I realized that I'm not good at thinking at scale. By scale, I mean that scale of a building. I cannot imagine to that extent. And I did not have exposure like from my hometown and everything. My idea of luxury was very limited. So, which I did not get exposure to like into city like Hyderabad, Delhi, and all of that. And here also, I feel it's quite limited because the context I've grown up in. So, had I chosen to become an architect, I would have been very mediocre one. But this internal voice, which kind of tells you, okay, you are from a top college and everything, you have to kind of understand where is it coming from. And In that sense, like what I did was I was honest to myself. Like if I become an architect, uh, I am good at drafting something. I'm good at 3D modeling, but I'm really not good at visualizing or thinking in that scale. So that told me, okay, that then if you cannot like be on the prime of this architecture field, then you have to look somewhere else. And which is why this all this exploration started. And when tech came in, like a lot of people think that people come to UX for money, which I do not see any problem in. But for me, it was not money. It was a childhood thing that I want to be closer to the technology. And but I also do not know how to code. So if I make that jump to uh, development as such, I will again be a shitty developer. So that's being honest to myself actually landed me here because, and I really need not convince anyone else. You might not buy my story. You might still say that it's a patchwork you're doing for, not saying that it's for money, but yeah, so if let's say someone is making a career choice, you really want to understand why are you doing it? Is it because all your friends are doing it and that's why you're doing it? Is it because you actually are uh, fascinated by the amount of money which people in that field earn? Is it about the work that you see? And when you are honest to yourself, you optimize for that. So I'm like, this is an unscripted one, right? So, I mean, if your motivation is actually that I want to go in that company because the girls in that company are really beautiful, like optimize for that. At least do not tell yourself a lie that I want to be a great designer, all of that. No, be clear. ठीक है, बाहर for outsiders you can say anything, but you know what's your goal. So listen to that. So that would be one. Second, which has worked in my favor a lot, is fake it till you make it. I don't think that needs an explanation. I have done it few times in my life, and I think that works. So I have taken it as a thing for me. So when I was in college, I was not good in Photoshop or something, or so I would just announce that I'm the greatest, would challenge the top person in our batch and everything. So out of all that fear of embarrassment and everything, you have end up learning faster than you would actually do. So yeah, that is second. And third would be um, do not self reject. So like this has been one of the thing which I see a lot of people do, which I also did for myself. And I would not have been in Microsoft had I not applied. So, and the role I applied for was far beyond my capabilities at that point. So, to be like very honest, people think that oh, it's since I am not meeting the requirement 100%, so I should not apply and everything, all of that. But they also understand that interviewers take like what 30 seconds, 1 minute to go through your CV, accept or reject. So my like I would hate if someone actually sends me a lot of resumes which are not matching the role from this side of the world. But as an applicant, you are optimizing for my 30 second or 60 second. Like if look at your CV, it's not matching. I'll reject it. 30 second. That's all you ask for. So at least apply. Uh, Look for it. You don't know when the chance comes in. Chance is what I took for Microsoft. So those are my top three always.
Thank you so much, Vaibhav. Those were some really honest advices, and thanks for opening up and sharing with all of us. So before we conclude, wanted to understand, like, since you read a lot of books, what are your three favorite books that you want to recommend to our viewers?
Three favorite. First would be definitely How to Live with Statistics. That book is quite old. It's quite like 114 pages, 120. It kind of opens up your mind about how data is should be seen, is seen, and how stories around it can be manipulated. Quite an eye opener and funny book. That would be my first pick. Second would be Range by David Epstein. So the subtitle of that book is like how journalist triumphs in specialist world. So it talks about, we all know about this idea of 10,000 hours and everything. So we have seen this theory working in a lot of cases where we see that people who start early in their sports career get a head start or something. But uh, like we have also seen examples where a lot of experience actually ended up giving bad result. Like you might be very experienced, which is, and you ended up making a mistake. So that book kind of gives a structure to why where this theory works, why generalization is good, and where this actually fails. So it's a bit heavy, but quite interesting. I think those two would be my top picks. Other than that, I am currently reading Invisible Women. So not sure, like I've not completed it, but the premise is quite interesting. Like how do we, in this world where everything is male center, how women kind of find their existence or what are the challenges they face, which I was on like when you read this book, you realize that, okay, um, when we talk about something as basic as door latches, right? So we have door latches on top. Door in India would be what, 6.5 feet. It's designed for average human male height, and which is why you will realize that a lot of time ladies or girls find it struggling to use those latches. They cannot reach it there. But all the standards, all the measurement in architecture and other design, actually, when you see it that way, it comes from there. So this book is quite an eye opener in that sense. This is something which we discussed sometime in college, but never went to depth of it. So I'm currently reading that. So those three fish.
Thank you so much, Vaibhav, for sharing those recommendations. And folks who are watching this video, very soon we're gonna do one video with Vaibhav on how to code and make plugins and all. Since Vaibhav has done that also previously, it would be really interesting to bring that up. So if you folks are interested, do check out that also. And year is almost ending, and we had made many great videos. And I'm glad Vaibhav joined us. This is one of the last videos of 2024. Thank you so much, Vaibhav, for coming and sharing all those great insights.
Thanks for inviting me, man. Like, and I really feel happy to be of this. So I also look forward to what other work you have been doing. So yeah, thanks, man, and happy New Year.
Yeah, thanks everyone, and wish you a happy new year. And next year we're gonna bring more and more videos. So stay tuned. Until then, take care, stay safe, and see you guys in the next year.